Alright, so tonight we are doing lesson 107, and we are using percent to name part of a group. Okay, so we're going to be dealing with percents here. Percent is a word that means out of 100. If we read that 50% of all Americans drive cars, we understand that 50 out of every 100 Americans drive cars. Another example could be like if we said 10% of the population is left-handed. That means about 10 out of every 100 people are left-handed. When we say percent, we're talking about or saying that it's out of 100 people in a group, because 100%. However, we may say percent and there could be even more or less than 100 in the group. Like fractions, percents name parts of a whole. We have used fractions many times to work with percents. So we always know that the denominator is 100. So I kind of wrote down at the top a few common percents and what they look like as fractions. So if I have 1% of something, I have 1 out of 100. If I have 50% of something, I have 50 out of 100. If I have 100%, it's all there. I have 100 out of 100. And this is very important just to know that percent, whenever we talk about percent, it means out of 100. Now I know that, sometimes even on your spelling test, if you get one more, you could get the extra credit right. You could have over 100%, but that means you got them all right plus something extra. So it would be that 105%. Alright, we're going to try the first one. You really need to pay attention to the video and what I'm saying, because this is something that's really different that we haven't really done before. Okay, so the first one says, if 8 of the 20 students are boys, what percent of the students are boys? Now some of you might be able to just do this in your head, it just makes sense to you, but for others, percent is something that's very hard to figure out. So what we know right now, we're going to first write down kind of a fraction here. And we're going to write down the fraction of boys. Okay, so my total number that I have of students is 20 students. I'm just going to use the word students just so you can see what I'm working with here. Okay, 20 students is my total. Students, I'm going to put total underneath too, just so you've got it. Okay, 20 total. How many boys do I have? 8. I'm going to put 8 boys. I'm going to write equal. Okay, what we need to do, like we've done before, you've done this on your homework, you've done this on tests, what we need to do is we need to get this denominator here to equal 100, which is our total. Okay, so we have 20 and we need it to equal 100 because the percents are always out of 100. So our denominator down here must be made into 100. So let's look at 20. What do we need to multiply 20 by to get to 100? And if you said 5, that would be correct. So I need to multiply the bottom by 5. 20 times 5 equals 100. Then I need to multiply the top by 5. 8 times 5 equals 40. And these are boys. So now I have a fraction that is out of 100. Now this can be turned into a percent. If you looked at the top, when I have 1 over 100, it equals 1%. 50 over 100, it equals 50%. What do I have right here? I have 40. So this would equal 40%. Okay, so if 8 of the 20 students are boys, what percent? It's 40%. So what you're really trying to do is make a fraction from your problem, and then you need to convert it into a percent. Okay, let's try the second one. There were 400 beads in all. If 60 beads were red, what percent of the beads were red? Okay, so first we're going to make a fraction. Our total is 400 beads. There are 400 beads. Okay, so I'm going to put that, and this is my total. And then I had 60 beads were red. 60 red. So now I need to figure out, okay, what percent of the beads were red? So what I need to do is I need to get my denominator to equal 100. So over here, I want this to equal 100. So then I'm dealing with percent, and our answer is very easy to find. What do I need to do to 400 to make it into 100? Now we're not dealing with subtraction, it's multiplication or division. Well, I don't need to multiply because that would make it bigger. So I'm actually going to divide. And if I take 400 and divide it by something to get 100, what number am I missing in my problem? If you said 4, you're correct. So I'm going to divide my bottom number, 400, divided by 4 equals 100. If I do that to the top, I need to divide the top also. So 60 divided by 4. And you should be able to figure this one out. It's kind of a trickier problem. You could also do the work on the side, long division, but 60 divided by 4 is equal to 15 red and 100 total. So, if you see now, I have 15 over 100, which I can turn that fraction easily into 8%. And if you know, we have played that spoons game, that math spoons game, and you have had to match fractions to percents to decimals. So this should be, once we have a fraction, you should be able to change that fraction into a percent very easily, especially when it's out of 100. So this is going to equal 15%. Alright, great job. The next one. The team won 2/3 of its games. Find the percent of games the team won. Okay, first I'm going to multiply 2/3 by 100. So I'm going to tell my two, they won 2/3 of the game, and I'm going to multiply them by 100 over 1, 100%. So here I get 200, and that's okay, over 3. 200% over 3. So now I'm going to have to do some long division, and there's probably going to be a remainder here, and that's okay. So I'm going to do 200 divided by 3. And it doesn't go into 2, it goes into 20 how many times? 6. 6 times 3, 18. Subtract, and you have 2. Bring down your 0. 3 goes into 20. 6 times 3, 18. Subtract 0. Nothing left to, 2. Nothing left to bring down, right? So this becomes a fraction. So I take my remainder that I have left, put it over my divisor, and I have a percent. 66 2/3%. That's the percent of the games that the team won. Alright, here's your lesson practice down at the bottom. Go ahead and do those, and then we will check those tomorrow.